Welcome to Retirement Decoded with your host, Scott Tucker, where we break down the complexities of retirement planning to give you clear, actionable advice. Whether you're just starting out or getting ready to retire, Scott's here to help you make informed decisions and secure your financial future. Tune in each week as we simplify the process and decode the path to a stress-free retirement. Now, here's your host, Scott Tucker.
Well, welcome back to the Retirement Decoded podcast. I'm your host, Scott Tucker, and so it's Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker. Andre, that's what it's called.
Perfect. There it is. We're back.
There it is. And my podcast sidekick, as most of the time, is Associate Advisor Andre Hootie. Say hello, Andre Hootie.
Hello, Andre Hootie.
Now, Andre Hootie, today's question comes from Connie. Connie says, Scott, I have a CD, certificate of deposit. So Connie says, Scott, I have a CD of $160,000 US. Congratulations. She didn't say US. I just always say that because I like to sound important. So Connie says, Scott, I have a certificate of deposit of $160,000 US. Okay. Not Canadian. Because we can't help Canadians. We're not licensed in Canada.
All right. Well, you've got a point there.
Yeah, we're federally licensed. So we're in Chicago, but we help folks all across the country. Our country, the good one. There was a joke a long time ago on Comedy Central, and I can't say it on the podcast, or I just shouldn't. USA stands for us, blank hole. That's what USA stands for. That's for us, blank hole. If you have kids in the car, so you gotta be careful. Connie says, Scott, I have a certificate of deposit for $160,000 US. Not loonies, not from Canada. This money was supposed to be used for college. She doesn't say for who. Here, I think this is it next here. My child is 21 and about to get a 2-year degree from community college. Okay, it's an associate's degree from community college. Hey, nowadays, Andre, these community colleges, they want like $10,000 a year to go to community college.
They are not cheap anymore.
Well, you know what they're doing too? They're taking the word community out of the college name.
Well, and then it's just college.
Yeah, they're like, well, this now is $10,000.
They beat the system.
Take some letters off the sign and double the tuition. So she has a CD for $160,000. This money was supposed to be used for her child's college. Her child is 21. Okay, I want to be clear on one thing. Your child is 21 and they are an adult. They're no longer. They may be your child, they're no longer a child. Mm-hmm. Andre, when I was 18, my mom dropped me off at a hotel.
Really?
Yeah, because I was going to boot camp the next morning. Hey, I volunteered for it. I was in the Navy. Do you know what Navy stands for, Andre?
I do not.
Never again volunteer yourself.
Well.
Yes. I signed up for active duty when I was 17. And then the first Gulf War started.
Oh, wow.
Oh, one of them.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, so when I was 18, my mom dropped me off at a hotel. So Connie saved $160,000 in a certificate of deposit. Now, CDs at the bank, Andre, one thing that comes to mind, they generate federal and state income taxes every year.
They do.
At ordinary income tax rates.
Yeah.
Not very tax efficient, Connie. Come on now. But, hey, what the heck? We're not here to throw stones. Or maybe not. Pebbles, perhaps? Dust?
Small pebbles.
Yeah, a little bit. I can tease you a little bit here and there. This money was supposed to be used for her child's college. Her child, who's now an adult, her child is 21, and her child's about ready to get an associate's degree from community college, or now they call it college, $10,000 a year usually. Her child wants to take a year off. A year off from what? Not working?
I thought he's finishing college.
Finishing an associate's degree at 21. Wait. Her child is 21, finishing a 2-year degree.
So did he already take a break? It's 3 years. You can get out of high school at 18.
You can go through school about as fast as you want to. When I was a kid, I got out of the Navy in 96. I was 23 years old. I worked full time and went to school full time, and I got done really fast because I didn't want to work full time, go to school full time forever. Right. I want to get going already. So her child's 21 and is getting a 2-year degree from community college. And now this bugger wants to take a year off. To live in my basement?
Yeah. Play video games.
You're going to go get an apartment and get to work? So the 21-year-old child getting a 2-year degree wants to take a year off and then finish their 4-year degree. Okay, so the kid was 18. It took him to 21 to get a 2-year degree. Then they want to wait until they're 22, still have a 2-year degree, then start a 4-year degree, and then have a bachelor's degree by age 24, perhaps. Or based upon their previous pacing, 25.
Yeah, sounds like it. I mean, I guess
it sounds like a young man, doesn't it?
Yeah,
this is something a young man does.
I'm just curious why the associate's degree and then the bachelor's degree.
Oh, it's like a why? I understand getting the credits at the community college and transferring to to university or whatever.
So I guess maybe they just didn't finish all the points. Maybe they're going to finish a 4-year college with their 2-year credits already.
Yeah. I hate to pick on Connie, but this kid doesn't sound motivated to me.
Yeah.
I don't like I like the Connie. I don't like her paying taxes on her CD. I don't know how much I want to help a kid who wants to take a break.
Yeah, I mean,
that you just got here.
If he's going to go work, sure. But I mean,
Andre, when I was 16, I grew up in Lansing, Michigan, and more specifically, DeWitt, Michigan, a suburb of Lansing. DeWitt, Michigan, Andre, home of the DeWittiets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I got a job at Schmidt's grocery store in Lansing, Michigan, northeast corner of Waverly and Saginaw. It's not there anymore, Andre. Don't go looking for it.
I was gonna.
Okay. I was a grocery bagger, and Michigan labor law was, okay, you're 16, and I think the minimum wage then, it was either $3.15 an hour. I think it was $3.15 an hour, and shortly thereafter they changed the federal minimum wage went to like $3.35 an hour.
Big change.
I had to wear a tie and everything, Andre.
No, you did not.
Yes, to bag groceries. We used to have like dress shoes, khaki pants, belt, dress shirt, tie, and then a white apron. Yeah. This sounds like the 1950s. It was only 1989, Andre.
Well, you know what? There was formal is always better in my opinion.
And we weren't allowed to take tips. And we would take your groceries to your car and all this stuff, and you can take tips.
Wow.
One of the managers looked both ways. He goes, "Listen, they give you $5, just pocket it." I mean, I'm like, okay, you're my kind of manager. I wasn't asking for a tip, but he's like, they want a tip, you just take it.
Right. I mean,
don't ask for it, right. But if they give it to you, just take the damn thing.
Right. And what's the saying? Don't kick a gift horse in its mouth.
Something like that. So Connie's kid is 21 and has been an adult for 3 years now. Just is wrapping up an associate's degree from community college, or now they call it college, so you can charge more for it. And now her kid at 21 wants to take a year off and then go back to school later to finish a bachelor's degree, which, Andre, whenever kids it's just human nature. We said in a previous episode, I think, if we're rolling a tire down the road, if we come to a complete stop, it takes more energy to start that tire rolling again.
Yeah.
Right? You take a year off. You're 21 years old. You take a year off of school. Why are you taking the year off? Are you going to work with widows and orphans in Kenya?
I hope so.
No, you're going to the basement to play Call of Duty. What is it now? Call of Duty 6 or something?
Yeah, something like that.
There's some weird track. There's some weird commercials about it now.
Yeah, I've seen those.
If you watch the Bears game, they'll have kind of some weird commercial about Call of Duty. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's. I think you're right though. I think it's the 6th one.
It's for people who live in the basement.
I mean, it's not like the 26th one.
It's for kids. It's for adult children that live in the basement, don't pay rent, and eat all the food out of your refrigerator.
Well, some people,
And then they complain about the food you have.
Well, that's the world. Oh, my.
Get out.
How could you?
That's why you change the locks. You get pepper spray and you change the locks. So the kid wants to take a year off and finish the 4-year degree. She says, Connie, I feel for you here. I get it. She says, I am hoping this happens, but not sure it will. That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, if you're thinking it, yeah, you know it's a problem. Yeah. Might be good to kick this kid out of the house, get them, then they got to show up somewhere else though. Even if they're going to go to work now, they got to show up ready to work. But I will tell you, there is a shortage in the trades like I'd never seen. Mm-hmm. And here in Chicago, the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and Electricians, they're looking for apprentices or apprenti.
Okay. You can make some decent money with them.
You make real good money. And then the other one, the plumbers as well. There's a whole bunch of them, but the electrical and the plumbers.
Well, just any specialty trade jobs.
Well, there's even the union laborers. I just don't want to work a shovel.
Yeah.
I mean, I worked a shovel when I was like 16, 17, 18. My dad was a stonemason for a number of years, and that you could we both made real good money, but I'd be the laborer. Mm-hmm. Laboring is laborious. Doing it the way you have to. If you're in stonemasonry with your old man, there has to be somebody who mixes the sand, the mortar, and a little bit of water, but it has to be very little water because the mortar has to be very stiff. Yep. And all this, and you have to use shims, and it's a whole thing. I'm going to give a stonemasonry podcast next. But boy, being out there all day and you're working that really giant mortar with a shovel, and you're mixing it just right, and you can't put too much water in there or else it's going to be too wet, and then you got to add more sand and more mortar, and all that labor is laborious. So that's why I would be an electrician or a plumber. Yeah. Probably a plumber because I wouldn't want to zap myself.
I've done plumbing in my day a little bit here and there. It's It can get pretty gross. Let's put it that way.
So maybe you just make sure that the
I'd rather get shocked.
make sure the electrical is disconnected. You got to put a danger tag on and all this kind of stuff. I did learn a little bit of electrical from the Navy, where they're like, if you come across a panel and it has a danger tag on one of the circuit breakers, they had like this crazy penalty. You do not remove that danger tag. It's going to have the person's name and number and all that stuff, and you got to locate the person who put the tag. Only person who put the tag and the danger tag on that circuit breaker can remove it. There's a hole, and if you screw that up, you get to go see the captain.
Oh, that.
And I don't mean Captain Morgan, and I don't mean like an Army captain. I mean a Navy captain, an 06.
Oh wow,
which is like a colonel.
Oh wow, I thought you meant like the ship's captains or something.
No, the ship's captain. I was on the USS Theodore Roosevelt, CVN 71. A ship's captain is a Navy 06 typically, which is like a colonel, right? And you get to go for what they call non-judicial punishment. That means you don't have rights in this proceeding. This is like the People's Court. It's like the People's Court. It's like People's Court, but Judge Wapner is a colonel, and it's not a TV show. And you can get things like you can get thrown in the brig. You can also get 3 days bread and water in the brig.
God.
And they can bust you in rank, and they can take half your pay, and they can restrict you to the ship. They can do a bunch of stuff.
We need more people in the military. Teach people discipline.
We need like a colonel, Judge Wapner.
It's
we need more of these kids get thrown in the brig and they mess up and give them 3 days bread and water.
It's I was thinking about this the other day. We've talked about how usually when we come across Europeans, and this isn't kind of blanket, but typically we see Europeans tend to work a little bit harder.
Well, anybody. Well, you're Ukrainian, see, so you're very biased.
Well,
but
I am.
But Eastern Europeans, I think.
Well, I think I have a solution, or a reason as to why that is.
Why?
There is required military service for the first 3 years to 4 years of your life. You really learn discipline at a younger age.
Probably a whole bunch of places. Probably the Eastern European countries. Probably Israel. Probably I can't think of all the countries that have this. I think the South Koreans have it. A whole bunch of people have that conscription.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's what it's called.
The problem in America, and the Commandant of the Marine Corps commented on this. There's something like 70% of high school seniors are not fit for military service for a number of reasons. One of them is obesity. Another, something people are surprised about. Even back when I took a ASVAB, Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery, to go enlisted in the Navy, and they figure out how smart you are, what it is you're good at. You could be smart and then be like, well, you're going to be a nuclear power engineer, or you can be smart and they'll say, well, you're going to be a cryptologist, code breaker. Or they could say you're less smart and you're going to work in deck department. You're going to work with paint and lines, like ropes and things. Mm-hmm. But they would have a thing back in the late 80s, early 90s. They had a thing. If you didn't score a 31 on your ASVAB, a 31 means you outscored 30% of the people that took it.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people don't realize this about the military, even back then, late 80s and stuff, early 90s. If you scored in the bottom 30 percentile, so you scored a 30 or lower on the ASVAB, that was the same as failing it. You're too dumb to enlist. They would not take you. They take 1/3 of people who took the test and say, well, we won't take you.
Maybe that's the issue. Maybe we're just leaving all the dumb people here, taking all the smart ones.
Yeah,
maybe we should flip that around. If you score above,
we should find something for the dumb people to do, right?
Yeah.
So they would a lot of times it would be, there was some math and some mechanical. There's a little bit of everything on this ASVAB, and so sometimes it would just be the kid had to go learn what they were supposed to learn in high school in the first place, and they could improve their ASVAB score if they could retake it.
Okay. But
you got to get to a 31, and really a lot of the people we had, I had an 84, so I'm not the smartest, I'm not the dumbest, right? But I outscored like 84% of people took it, whatever that, or 83%, however that works. But what was crazy, if you got in the 90s, then the Navy recruiter was like, well, you got to go in the nuclear power program.
Oh, wow.
So they want you to take another test called the nuke test.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you save your time with that. I don't want to be Homer Simpson, although they're very well paid, and all that. But the guys who got in the 90s, they were usually the guys that couldn't tie their shoes in boot camp, so we had to split them up. The company commander, we had like 30 nukes in my boot camp class of 84 recruits, and we had like 30 of them were nukes, nuclear candidates. And the first thing that the company commander did, he said, raise your hand if you're a nuke. He's like, okay, each of you nukes go find a bunk, but no two of you together, because your bunkmate is your first person, your first teammate.
Right.
So if I was going to be a cryptologist and you were going to be a nuke, right? And I'm going to make you a nuke for a minute, which is going to mean you're really smart, but you're really stupid.
Okay.
You're going to be the guy
you're going
to be the guy who can do all the math and run the nuclear reactor, but you can't tie your own shoes or lace your boots. So me as your bunkmate, it's my job to look over all your work and make sure you didn't bridge a shoelace.
Oh wow.
Or you didn't go left over right instead of right over left on your laces on your boots and all this stuff. So I was in charge of making sure you could pass the inspections, and then you're kind of along for the ride because I'm smart enough to do the rest of I'm smart enough to do all the boot camp stuff. You're gonna do really well on anything math related,
right?
But then you're gonna mess up like the drills where you make your bed or you lace your boots. But that's my job to look out for you. So as a team, we pass.
Huh. Okay.
And so we had like 30 of the 84 recruits were like nukes. So the first thing their company commander did is split us all up. So those 2 beds, there'd be like, okay, there'd be 1 nuke at this bunk bed set, and that's it. It's like Full Metal Jacket. That's what it looked like. And so they all the nukes go pick your spots. So that's who the company commanders always had trouble with was the nukes. Again, a year and a half from now, you'd be running a nuclear reactor. Right now, you can't tie your shoes. So that's really weird. That's how it was. And then we had cryptologists. They weren't too worried about us. We were kind of like, had common sense. That wasn't too bad. We had a whole bunch of CBs, or construction battalion guys.
Okay.
And they had common sense. And then
if you're in construction, you have to have some common sense.
You'd hope so, right?
Yeah.
Dealing with buildings, and some of them are bulldozer drive and become equipment operators and things.
Right.
And then you have guys that are different things. But it's funny that 30% of the kids they won't take them because they're not smart enough, just smart enough. And then there's a whole bunch that can't pass drug tests. Marijuana, by the way, folks, Connie, I don't think this applies to your child or your adult child. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Not saying that they're looking to go to the military anyway. Keep in mind, folks, if you talk to a young person, marijuana is still illegal federally. You may have trouble getting into the military that way. There's the obesity thing. There's also there's criminal activity. We used to have when I was in the Navy. I went back. This is not really related to retirement planning, but it's stories.
It's interesting.
Stories are fun. I went back when I was in Scotland. I saved up like 30 days of leave. You get 30 days of leave a year. So I stayed in Scotland straight through for like a year. I was supposed to be there 2 years, right? And so I just didn't go home for Christmas or Thanksgiving or anything for a year. So I had 30 days of leave. So I put in for 30 days of leave all at once. And I also put in for an additional like 2 weeks of, they call it the HARP program. It's the Home Area Recruiting Program. So I'd go home and work with the recruiters and go to the high schools with them and introduce them to teachers or say hi to kids that looked up to me a couple years ago or whatever.
Right.
And I've always been short, but I always had kids that looked up to me if they were younger. Right. And so the way the recruiting program happened, I think you got 10 days additional leave. So I had 40 days of leave at one time.
Oh, that's nice. That's unheard of.
So I had 30 days. Well, if you're in the military, you can get 30 days vacation every year, Andre. The problem is, the other 11 months, they don't have to give you a day off. Right.
they will 14 hours.
They'll give you off when they can, but they might not be able to. So I got 30 days of leave, then I got 10 days of, 12 days, something like that. So I had to work 2 5-day weeks, and I think I got that weekend for free or something. Or no, that's what it was. The 5 days I recruited, Monday through Friday, those didn't count. That's what it was. Okay. So I was home 30 days plus 10 days. So I was home for 40 days.
Gotcha.
And but 10 of those days I'd work with a recruiter, and we go to DeWitt High School, home of the DeWittians, home of the Panthers, and say hi to everybody. And then we go to different high schools, and sometimes you say, hey, I got this kid in DeWitt, the suburb where I grew up outside of Lansing, Michigan, and I want to go visit with him. Oh, so we went to go see a friend of mine from high school, Ryan Strong. Many moons ago, and I have what looks like a Cracker Jack outfit. It's that black outfit. It's like navy blue, but it's like a black color with the white hat and all that. So I look like I'm on the front of the Cracker Jack thing. And the recruiter has the same kind of outfit. And we show up at Ryan's house, a friend of mine from high school, and we're just walking. We park. They had kind of a weird driveway. We park in the driveway, and we're walking up to the door. His mom comes out. She's gonna go run an errand, and she goes, his older brother was in the Navy.
Oh my God.
She thought we were there for a death notice thing.
Oh God.
She goes, oh my God. I'm like, oh, we're here to see, I'm Scott Tucker. We're here to see Ryan. She goes, oh my God, my older son's in the Navy. I thought you guys were here to tell me he was dead.
Oh man.
And we go, no, ma'am, that's an officer's job. They don't send them listed for the death notifications. So hey, guess what? He's still alive.
Oh well, good.
Is Ryan home? So that's how.
Man, you gave her a scare.
Oh, I didn't mean to, but that's how we would do. I would help the recruiter, like, oh, you've been trying to see Ryan and he won't talk to you or doesn't respond. He didn't tell you to go away. He's just being an 18, 19-year-old, whatever it was. Right. He's probably 19 or 20. I don't know.
Right.
Because sometimes one of your friends, I don't know what he was up to. I haven't talked to him, I don't think, since high school, but sometimes one of your friends would be up to nothing. You come home on recruiting duty, you're 20, you got your Cracker Jack outfit, you got your life together, you're out of your mom's basement, and then the kid you went to high school with might be like, you know what? Yeah. They might have gone and done a couple years of college and figured out they want to do something else for a little bit. Yeah. Common with young men that they want to do something else for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you got to test a few things out, right? Like you can't know right off the bat.
Yeah. Well, I think young men mature slower than girls too.
Yeah.
So Connie said her child's is 21, about to get a 2-year degree from community college, wants to take a year off to get a 4-year degree. She's hoping this happens, but not sure it will. Yeah, I don't like the whole year off thing. That doesn't sound like a go-getter. This is how it is. Connie, every kid's going to turn out different. I'm not picking on you. I've got aunts and uncles, and they're like, life's like a box of chocolates, Is it better to keep, I'm going to give her some advice, Andre. Let's see if we can give her some advice. Is it better to keep the $160,000 in the CD or to take $60,000 or more to open an IRA? Oh, Connie. Now, I tell you what. Does Connie not have an IRA, Andre?
It doesn't sound like it. And you can't just take that amount of money out of a CD and put it into an IRA.
Wowzers. Now, Connie, if you're self-employed, you might be able to do a SEP IRA. I don't think that's what's happening here. But we can't just go jam that $60,000 or more into an IRA all in 1 year.
No, we can't.
Now, it's a whole inflation-adjusted game in that. Like, you might be able to do you might be able to do like $8,000 every year. That's going to change, inflation-adjusted, or it's not going to change. Oh, goodness, Connie, take care of yourself first.
Yeah. Well,
I feel like Dave Ramsey. I'm like, get your kid out of that basement.
Well, Connie, I will say this, get on our fall calendar. We'll talk to you. There are some strategies we can look into, see if anything's possible in that sense. But yeah, we definitely want you to have an IRA, something for your retirement.
And a lot more than that too. Quite frequently, not all the time, and not always with kids of this age and that. And I don't know how old Connie is, but please take care of yourself. Your kid that's 21, they got the rest of their life to work. They can go work nearly 50 years yet. They're 21. Let's say you're 41, you're 51. You've got a plan for you. Oh, my goodness. Connie, I'm sorry you're going through this. If Connie gives her address, then we can go tune them up. I don't know if it's a him. It sounds like a boy though. That's or a young man. That's something a young man does. I feel for you, Connie, but I tell you what, my mom was tough on me, and it helped. And there's no do-overs at this either. But please take care of yourself. You do not want to get to where you're retired and you're a weak person financially. You want to put yourself in a strong position, and your 21-year-old needs. From what I'm reading between the lines, I don't have all the facts. I think your 21-year-old needs to grow up. That's a lot of them do. Not just you anymore. It's a national phenomenon. Well, it's Retirement Decoded with Scott Tucker. I'm getting my nose in your business. I'm telling you stuff you don't want to hear. Go ahead and share the podcast. Give us 5 stars. Hopefully you can tolerate this insanity. Hopefully it's fun to listen to a couple stories and just not be too technical on all the retirement planning all the time. But Connie, you can get on our phone calendar. We'll talk to you 15 minutes for free. Anybody can do that. TuckerRetirement.com. Get on our phone calendar, 15 minutes for free on the telephone in the coming week, and we'll get your questions, answer your answers questioned, and we'll try not to be judgmental on your parenting. Okay? We'll talk to you soon, and we'll talk to you on the next podcast.
Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. has a strategic partnership with tax professionals and attorneys who can provide tax and or legal advice. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions. A Roth conversion is a taxable event and may have several tax-related consequences. Be sure to consult with a qualified tax advisor before making any decisions regarding your IRA. The views and opinions herein are those of Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AEWM and Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. are not affiliated companies. Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. AEWM does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. are not subject to investment advisory requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc. is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this podcast shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Scott Tucker Solutions, Inc.